Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders Yugioh channel. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that quarantine has definitely put a hamper in a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh playing that people have been doing. We're going to try and get the brand new Eternity code, but it's been extremely difficult to try and get it. And so one of the things that some of the members of the team and I have sort of thought up is doing something along the lines of a Cross-Banlist quarantine cup tournament. It's kind of tied us over until the new set comes out. And this is right here, my submission to that tournament. Hopefully we'll have a couple of other deck profiles and stuff, but I wanted to present to you guys Full Power Nekroz. Now, Nekroz, when they first came out, I believe end of 2014, early 2015, were one of the strongest decks that had ever been created at that point. It completely destroyed Dragon Rulers, which by that point was the strongest deck, and put up a very, very powerful match against Teledad. The thing about Nekroz, though, was that Nekroz was extremely skill-based, which means that you needed to be incredibly good at playing the deck, because the only thing worse than not having enough advantage is having way too much and having no idea what to do with that advantage. It sort of bucked the trend, having you clear your field each turn, and just sort of trying to, like, outsmart your opponent in a lot of ways. And it was an extremely cerebral deck, and one of my personal favorites. So, guys, let's get into the profile. Starting things out right here is Necroz of Brionac at 3 copies. This card is really, really awesome. Ditch it from your hand to the grave to fetch any Necroz card that includes any other ritual monster, ritual spell with Necroz in its name, or Necroz main deck monster, which some people didn't even realize that you could do with this card, but that really makes Necroz of Brionac an awesome card. And then when it's on the field and ritual summoned, you can bounce any 2 extra deck monsters your opponent controls back to their deck. One of the main consistency pieces to that card. The next thing that they ran in this deck was 3 copies of Necroz of Valkyries. Also a very, very tough card to find in packs. Necroz of Valkyries is kind of like a battle fader. You ditch it from your hand to the grave and banish a Necroz card from your graveyard to negate the attack and end the battle phase. And then when it's on the field, it has an even better effect, which is ditching 2 cards from your hand to your grave, from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. And actually, Necroz of Valkyries is very good at clearing your field, because in Necroz Mirror Matches, you wanted to make sure that either your hand, field, or graveyard, whichever one it was, had no cards in it, so that you would not be able to get Necroz of Trishla. Next card that we have in here is probably one of the best cards in the entire deck. Not a consistency boosting card, but one of the cards you'd actually keep on the field, and that's Necross of Unicor at 3 copies back in the old format. Necross of Unicor, basically, when it's on the field, negates the effects of all monsters special summoned from the extra deck. And with the number of things that opponents have out right now that do that, having Necroz of Unicor at 1 in the current format is actually very, very troublesome for a lot of different reasons, and more people would rather have Necroz of Unicor at 3 to give a little bit more of that stun aspect back, and I do hope that happens. Next card is Necroz of Clausulus. Once per turn during either player's turn, negate the effect of a monster special summon, like while it's on the field, that was special summoned from the extra deck, and turn its attack to 0, and then you can discard this card from your hand to your graveyard to search any Necroz spell card from your deck to your hand. So Brionac searches a monster, Clausulus searches a spell. One of the big beaters in the deck, Necroz of Trishla. This card was one of your game-ending cards. You special summon it to the board and banish 1 card in your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. Big difference between this card and regular Trishla, as this card needs to have cards to banish in all 3 places, otherwise it does not resolve. But this card was extremely, extremely powerful in a time when Trishla was a very tough card to make, and this is way, way easier to make, especially with Shurit Strategist to the Necroz. You can also discard this card from your hand to the graveyard to basically prevent your opponent from targeting a monster that your opponent that you control. So that made it really, really good power play. And sometimes people ran 2, but most of these max power Necroz decks ran 1. Next card that people ran, this was kind of a tech option. I personally really do like the card, is Necroz of Unicor. Very, very strong for discarding this card and preventing a monster from being destroyed by battle or card effect. And then allowing you also to discard a Necroz card from your hand to the graveyard while this is face up on the field to destroy a card your opponent controls during either player's turn. Very, very powerful card. Final card is Nekroz of Decisive Armor. And Decisive Armor is closing out the rituals right now by basically allowing you to once per turn banish a face down card your opponent controls, and then you can ditch this from your hand to the grave to boost up something by 1,000. So it's a little bit of an honest play. It's also got the highest attack power, which makes it nice. Now, these are pretty much self-explanatory. 3 Manjus, Ritual Searchers. 3 Senjus, since all your Necroz monsters allow themselves to be discarded from your hand to the graveyard, you don't really need to search ritual spells as much as you need to search ritual monsters, which means that having Manju and Senju in here is definitely powerful. This is the main card that makes the deck work. 2 copies of Shurit Strategist of the Necroz, and this card is so powerful because it can be counted as 1 tribute anywhere from hand, field, or graveyard to tribute summon and special summon a Necroz monster. And Necroz monsters cannot be summoned using ritual monsters that have this, using tributes that have the same level as them. So Shurit Strategist, the network, Necroz comes in here and can have like multiple different uses, and really, really good card. 1 copy of Dance Princess prevents like activations and also shuffles back banished Necrozes and things like that. And then finally, from the infamous djinn lock, it is Djinn Releaser of Rituals, which when it is involved in a ritual summon, you can banish you can banish this card if you would ritual summon instead of tributing it on the field. And then if it is involved in a ritual summon, you basically are allowed to make the monster that's ritual summon have the effect that neither player can that your opponent cannot special summon. And it's an effect in the graveyard. It's like pretty much unnegatable. You got to kill the monster. And so people were actually running things like Bullblader and Camera Clops and other cards that would just like be able to out the monster that you would summon, which was Necroz of Klausulus with this djinn. That's how powerful the play was. Very, very degenerate play, but nevertheless we have to include it in Max Power Necroz. Moving on to these spells now. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. Very, very strong card. And this one just basically is like part of your searching that you do in the deck, which makes it a good piece. It fetches you your Brian Axe and stuff from your deck to your hand and allows you to continue going on your plays. Next, one of the cards that we have in here that is also very strong is, this was actually at 3 at the time, believe it or not, but it's Reinforcements of the Army. Nekroz was actually so consistent that they didn't even need 3 copies, but basically you have this in here to search your Shurit out of the deck. You want your Shurit to hand ASAP, and Reinforcements of the Army allows you to do that. Now, 1 each of all 3 of the Nekroz ritual spells: Kaleidoscope, Mirror, and Nekroz Cycle. I'll basically say what each of them do. This is a Miracle Fusion monster. So each of them can do a normal ritual summon, which send the cards from hand or field to the graveyard to ritual summon the monster, except they all have other effects for Nekroz specific rituals. Nekroz Mirror allows you to banish monsters from your grave for a ritual summon from hand. Nekroz Kaleidoscope allows you to send monsters from your extra deck for a ritual summon from hand, and Nekroz Cycle allows you to send monsters from your hand and field for a ritual summon from graveyard. They were run at 2 each, very easily searchable by banishing them and another Nekroz while you control no cards on your side of the field to add a different named copy of one of those ritual spells from your deck to your hand. Next, we've got doing Book of Eclipse for setting things face down for Trishla, Book of Moon, same deal, Raigeki, Dark Hole, and then finally, guys, you would not believe this, in this same exact format, Snatch Steal was legal. So, crazy format this was. Very skillful format as well. I enjoyed playing in it, but it definitely was mostly because of Nekroz and not because of any of the other stuff. Now moving on to our extra deck, guys. Starting things out, we have Lavable Chain. This is great for that djinn lock combo, which was the combo where you go into this with Unicor, and then you send the Unicor and any Senju or Manju or something like that. Overlay into chain. Send what do you call it? So you search the Necroz of Clausulus, and then you overlay into chain, and then you special summon, or you send the djinn to the graveyard, and then banish the djinn to special summon Clausulus, and then Clausulus prevents your opponent from doing any special summoning. So they gotta out this 2300 defense monster, which is kind of tough to do when you can't special summon. One Karagorgon, protection from targeting effects, not once per turn. Gaga Cowboy, great game-ending card. Abyss Dweller, same deal. And then Emerald. So most people actually ran 2 of this. So you can bump up the number to 2. I currently can't find my second. I think I may have given it away to somebody. Don't really know what I did with it, but that nevertheless is noted. And so that's pretty much different fusions, or different XYZs that you run. The main thing about this deck, guys, is that you didn't really need your extra deck because your main deck did all of the fighting for you. Next card that we have in here are these 3. Usually you'd run 2, but I'm running 3 in this particular one. It's Herald of the Arclight. Send it from your deck, from your extra deck to the graveyard off of Kaleidoscope to special the Unicor, and then when Herald of the Arclight is sent to the graveyard, you're allowed to add a ritual spell or ritual trap card from your deck to your hand. Beyond amazing, really, really awesome card, and definitely made for the whole Unicor play. And then, of course, finally is Shooting Quasar Dragon, which you just use as a way to ditch off of Kaleidoscope to special summon multiple different Necrozes from your hand. So, super, super powerful play there. There was some crazy play that people used to do with Shooting Quasar to special summon 2 Bryonax from their hand, and then overlay into Exabeetle, detach Shooting Quasar, so attach Shooting Quasar from graveyard, then detach Shooting Quasar from Exabeetle to special summon a Shooting Star from their extra deck, which is crazy, crazy plays, guys. Insane. But, guys, that's going to do it for my full power Nekroz deck for the Cross-Banlist Quarantine Cup. I really hope you guys enjoyed the profile. If you did, remember to give me a rate, comment, and subscribe to the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. The channel's growing because of you guys. And with that being said, guys, this has been the Mermail Master, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.